Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back. So, where we left off the last video, I was struggling to try and get the health to update. It took me a little bit here, but I did figure out how to finally get it to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over that in this video and continue on. So this is the health bar here. I'll just wait for him to stop, and then, there, as you can see, I got poisoned, and now it's changing. So what I ended up having to do is I had to take the health update script, okay, so this is where it is on the interface, and I had to make it into a server script, and I had to put it into replicated storage, and then when the player joins the game, so not at the beginning, but at the very end, so after the numbers have loaded onto the player, after we've verified that the numbers are the numbers, then we can find the player in the workspace, because at that time the player should be in the workspace. Then what we do is we find the player in the workspace, then we clone this health update script to the player. Let me show you how that works. So we join the game. As you can see, it goes through, it prints my name, that lets me know it's been cloned, and we have this health update. So this is how you can also clone other scripts to the player when they join the game. They do different things. Hopefully they're all good. And then what we need to do is we need to reference the main health bar here in the script and the text label as well. And so it's supposed to say health, but I don't know why for some reason it I don't know why it's not working. This here. Yeah, you see that? You see it's like transparency is set to 1. And this should be health. See, I don't know why it's not. I don't know why it's not showing up. And then now this one, you see, now this one doesn't want to, it's labeled, but it doesn't want to, maybe it's because it doesn't get the name until the code gives it the name. It should say health. So what we're trying to do now is, okay, so we've got the main health bar, then the text label .text. Yeah, it should say health, but for some reason it's not. Now I wonder if that's because we have this this list here. Okay, weird. It's all like bold and stuff. Let's see. Strange. So we don't need that. Wow, that's just so strange how it's so this one here, if we do that, but this should be on top of it, right? I'm not understanding there. Okay, weird. Now, what's the difference between 28 and 14? I have no idea. Here, just delete that and we'll copy it. There we go. And we'll delete that, and then instead of saying mana, it will say health. There we go. That solved that problem. Weird. Probably have to do that more than once. Okay, so there we go. So now we have the health, and it shows as a percentage. Now, if we want to change how that shows as a percentage, we just change that there. But we can also change it to the number value. So I guess we would have to say well, that could probably work. That could probably work. That could probably work. Just the way it is. I think this works good. There we go. Now we can see what kind of damage we're taking. Holy moly. Holy moly. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Now it just gives us more. It gives us more of that real-time stats. Whew. Now what we need to do is we have to recharge. We would have to recharge the weapon. Excellent. Yeah, so what I ended up having to do is I ended up having to create that as a local script, the health update, and then it gets cloned to the player once the player joins the game. So what you could do is you could have a folder on the replicated storage where you would put all this kind of stuff that you want the player to have when they join the game. So that's how we do that. So then we can close the local script, we can close the health update script. So here it's just at the bottom, after the player loads in and all the values load in, then we have the clone scripts. And this is where you would want to give the player objects as well, down here. Something like that. Okay, so starting to get set up. Yeah, now what we need to do is we need to continue on here. And so health was a little bit different, but the rest of the stats shouldn't be. They should be the same as the mana. And we'll change this to wisdom. So let's see, what do we want? What do we have here? We had stamina. Oh, we could change that to stamina. Yes, that will work. Alright, so now how stamina is going to work. And I want it to be a different color. I'd like it to be like that, sure. And then how stamina is going to work is that when we press a button, the character is going to be able to run. So it's going to change the character's walk speed faster, but that's going to consume stamina. And I think also when we take damage, that is going to consume stamina. So no, I don't think that's right. I think it's just that's just going to be for running, so you can move faster. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. We might use it for a check on damage. If you have more than 50% stamina, you do more damage. So we might add that to the game later on. But that's basically that. So for this, We need to change it from game stats mana to game stats stamina. Line 39. Oh, because this is in here. Replicate storage. Yeah, there we go. Well, it should, instead of saying mana, we want to change the local script to say stamina. Right, and that's basically it. And then we can do the same thing for money. We can do the same thing, except we don't want to use the bar for money, right? You know, but we want to use that for our stats, strength, wisdom, so that way the player knows how far they can increase those stats. You know, we can do all that kind of stuff. Or what we can do is we can track, because it'll take a certain amount of experience to get these to increase in level, the strength, the endurance, and the wisdom. So maybe what we'll do is we'll actually track how much experience they put into it before it goes up to the next level. So that's the next thing we need to track here, is we're going to need to change this up a little bit. So that's it for player stats. Then we will probably need an additional window. So this is the stats window here. Let's see, if we duplicate stamina, but if we make this a little bit bigger, and then in here, we'll copy the list, we'll paste it into, yeah, and then we can put that inside there. I think it'll work the same. And then this will be strength. And we'll need to duplicate that. This will be endurance. And then we will duplicate that, and this will be wisdom. I know there's no E on the end of that. I was doing that just. Anyways, so this here is going to be strength. Now in the game, we're going to have different stuff. Oh no, this is endurance. Whoops. In the game, we're going to have different stuff. So, for example, to open chests, you'll have to check your strength level, and that's going to tell you whether you succeed or fail. Sort of stuff like that, right? So we'll be able to use this for many different things. This is going to be wisdom. Okay. Now I don't know what. That's that frame there. Okay, so we could. I see. If we shrink it, it doesn't really matter because we're using that. Yeah. Okay. So now if we press play. No, that doesn't. It's not going to work that way. They're going to have to be. Oh, yes, it could. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. So now that we have those, this, we can actually duplicate that and put it in there. Then we can get rid of that. No, we'll get rid of that. There we go. And then we can duplicate that, put it in there, and we can get rid of that. And we can duplicate that, put it in there, and we can get rid of that. See, it's doing it. It's doing that thing again. Now let's see how that looks. So it loaded one of them. I wonder why. I wonder why it's. Oh well, it doesn't matter. It's just the way it's. Okay, there we go. So now this needs to be, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dot game stats dot stamina. Is that right? Yes. And this one needs to be dot strength. But this will be character stats. Oh, that one's endurance. Whoops. And this will be this one here. So if I copy that and we go to endurance and we paste that there and we change it to endurance. And then we'll do wisdom next. So that way it grabs the right values. And this will be wisdom with the E. Oh no, it's somewhere else. It's somewhere else in there. Okay, now let's see what was the starter GUI? Okay, so for some reason it's not getting the values. Oh, there it is. That's why it's saying it's not player GUI. So we need to go up one more. And that's this one here. And that's this one here. Mana is not a valid member of frame. Main help bar script dot parent dot end script dot parent dot end. Okay, script.parent.str, because I renamed them and then I didn't rename them in the code. Alright, let's see if that wants to work. Oh, look at that. But now they're all named stamina because I need to change. So this should be endurance XP. There we go. Strength level XP. And this one will be wisdom. Alright, so now when the player joins the game, they can see that the XP is 0. Now, why doesn't it shrink the bar? We're having that another issue there. It needs to shrink the bar. Starter GUI. So it needs to shrink the bar. Oh, that could be it too. So this one here is that one. Yeah, that is right. It is that color. Oh, let's find out. Was this background transparency 0? And this one is 0. So this one is 0, and this one is 0. Oh, they're the same color. I see. That is why. So this could be that color. And this can be that color. Alright, let's make them all white for now. I think it is working. It's just figuring out, because there we go. They're layered on top of each other. So now we're able to track our experience, our wisdom, and our endurance. And we can change those values to whatever we want. You know, so like basically what we're going to do is we're going to build with this interface. We need a couple of buttons, right? So maybe on this side of the screen, there will be stats, and that'll be this window here. There will be values, like there will be a couple other buttons that we can press. So this is kind of just, again, still the beginnings of creating the player and just creating the stats and how we want to visualize them, because we still need to do something like this for the inventory. So we're going to need a button for our player inventory. I don't want to use this because, you know, let's say we want to gather items, bring them back, and be able to craft them to upgrade our weapon. That's kind of more, I think, would be more suitable for something like this. So yeah, so we're going to save that to Roblox. So now that we've made our master interface, and it looks so-so, now what we need to do is we need to figure out how to give the player the stats that we want to change. So now what we need to do is we need to just create buttons that we need to create buttons. Let's turn this up again here. We need to create buttons that do what? They give the player all these types of rewards. So some will be automatic rewards, and some will be, actually no, we could, okay. Yeah, let's see. So what we're going to do is we're going to have another interface. As I was saying, we're going to have a couple of buttons. One of the buttons that we're going to have on the screen is going to be a level up button. And when these are at certain levels, right, because, okay, so hear me out. Right now, the values of the statistics are preset. See, there's a maximum value there, right? So what we need to do is, instead of this maximum value, we need to find a different way of giving that value, of changing it, right? So every level, this value needs to increase. And so the only way to do that is we might need to have another value on the player. And that might need to be, because this tracks how much experience we have. Let's see. Because we want to think about levels, right? We want to think about how many times do we want to increase these stats. Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 20? Let's say it's 100 times. Let's say we want to increase this value by 100 times. And every time, we're just going to add a 0 to it. So on the player, we need to have 3 numbers. One, two, three, and what they need to be is yeah. So this needs to be strength XP. And this needs to be STR XP. And this needs to be endurance XP. END XP. And this needs to be wisdom XP. Wisdom XP. And then this can be wisdom XP. Okay. And then the name will be strength XP. This doesn't matter. Endurance XP. And this will be wisdom XP. Okay, yeah, and they're just going to be number values. And so that number value is what we're going to reference here. Now, I don't know. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to say this here. All right, we'll have to copy that. We'll have to say that, but instead of character stats, it's going to be, what's this one here? Endurance. It'll be endurance XP. There we go. And it didn't, oh yeah, replicated storage, yeah. Oh, something happened. It didn't like that. It didn't like that. Oh, because it's 0. Because the value is 0. So let's try that again. So endurance XP right now, the value is 0. So if we go on the server side and we query the player and we say, okay, now all of a sudden their endurance experience is now 1000. So now if we look at where the player is, maybe? Maybe if we can't change it that way. Maybe this is something we have to load when we load into the game. Oh, no, we need to say dot value. Endurance XP dot value. Yeah, because here we say fuel dot value. There we go. That should work. Yes, there we go. And it says none because there is no value for it yet. So then if we clear it and we say all right, well, it will tell us where we are. I need to create a button now which just gives us some stats, but that's, yeah. Okay, so let's do that. Let's save to Roblox. Now let's create a button which can give us some statistics. So let's just get a part in here. Let's anchor it and scale it inside the button, inside the block. We're going to insert an object, a prompt. Let's call this reward. Okay, and then we just need some code, insert, object, script. Okay, now we want to connect to our data store. First things first. And we want to say local button equals script dot parent dot proximity prompt, and then we'll say button dot trigger ended connect function, and we need the player. All right, now we can add some code. So first thing we want to do is we want to give the player a reward. So we need to find player dot, oh, now we need to say local bonus equals 10. Okay, so I'm going to say player dot character stats. What are we doing? We're doing endurance XP. Okay, dot endurance XP equals, there we go, plus the bonus. And then what we want to do is we want to set the async, but we want to do that in a p call. So what we then want to do is we want to take one of these p call functions, copy that, okay? Because what this will do is this will give us the reward, but it won't save it. So if we want it to save, see where it says get async? We have to set this to set async. And then we have to tell it, what do we want to sync? We want to sync this, but then we want it to be player, we want to sync this value. Dot value. And we have to make sure we put that on here so we know that we're changing the value. All right. So now what we'll say is we'll say data endurance XP. Now we should have oh, I don't have a P call here for the endurance XP. Okay, so that we'll have to connect that. Data ENDXP is what we'll call it. So now in this case, the data is going to equal that. So the data is going to equal the value that we're changing, the changed value. That's what we're going to do. We're setting the changed value to the data. So now when the player joins the game, we need 2 more of these. We need 3, actually. 2, 3. And one needs to be... it gets complicated. Data strength. And one needs to be endurance. Data endurance. And then one needs to be data wisdom XP. Okay, so copy that. All we need to do is just copy this, thankfully. Right, it's all this data is saved as numbers on the Roblox server. So however it organizes it and all that, that's totally up to Roblox. We put these variables in, it sends the data to the server, and then it saves it. And then we can change the value. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. Did it change the value? It did, except oh, look at that. But now everything is at 10%. What's going on? Interesting. Oh, I wonder. I wonder if. I wonder. I've done something. I've done something here with this. All right. What is going on here? Did I change all the values? I changed not all the values. Oh, I wonder why. I changed the endurance to 10, strength to 10, wisdom to 10, and I changed a bunch of these to 10. I better check on these. Oh, you know what? Look at that position Z dot value. I betcha. Alright, so I should have changed this to this. Oh, no. No. This should be strength XP. And this should be endurance XP. And this should be wisdom XP. Now, it gave me an error message here saying it couldn't find me. So now it's unable to clone. I wonder why that is. Oh, because I should change this to wait for child. There we go. Okay, now I still don't understand what I've done when I changed the value here. Okay, so data store, it saves it. Oh, I wonder, you know what I forgot to do? Is we probably need a variable. Each one of these probably needs a variable, yes. So instead of just this sword and shield, it should be, and that's what I forgot. So everything is just saving under the same variable. So this sword and shield, and this is going to be sword and shield. This is going to be mana. So each one has to have, and it needs to be individually named. Stamina. This is money. That explains it. This will be XP. This will be level. Strength. Because this is how we track, it's this variable here is how we track this on when it saves. Endurance, wisdom, position X, position Y, because I was wondering why when we loaded the game, it was loading the same value for everything. It's because we're syncing that one value that I saved to everything. Okay, strxp e and dxp and wisdom wisxp. There we go. So now when we give the player endurance, it's going to save under this value here. There we go. So now if we press play, look at that. Everything has been reset. Everything's been reset. So now if I give myself the 10 endurance, and then I rejoin the game, yeah, endurance XP is 10. But okay, so now we need to connect these. Now that we've done that, we need to connect the two dots together. Now that we've been able to give ourselves a reward, now what I was trying to figure out was we need to scale this, right? We need to scale this value. So the maximum value is so maybe the text label should actually be this. Like the text should be this. Instead of endurance level XP, let's see. Bar size. And the bar size is fuel.value. So the bar size is based on endurance. Yeah. Each level needs to have a maximum value. We could probably store those values in the replicated storage on the server. I don't see an issue with that. So we could insert an object, right click, insert object. This can be a number value, and we could call this, oh no, because it's gonna, that's not the right way of doing this. Let's see. If we want the number to increase, maybe this is backwards. Maybe this needs to be there, and maybe this needs to be there. Oh, give me an error. Line 8 and 13. Give me an error again. Okay, there we go. There we go. Aha, so what it's doing is it takes our current endurance value. Oh, so this is where things, is this another like an hour-long video? Yeah, pretty much. So this is where things kind of, again, we roll into a little more complexity where we have to say, okay, we need to find a scale. So let's see. So what it's doing is the maximum value is whatever our endurance value is, but we want that to be something else, right? So every level, that needs to be a different value. This value here, every level needs to be a different value. So, oh, let me see here. Let me see if I've got that correct first. Before we do anything, it'll load it. So then we'll go to the server side. Let's change this value. No, it's based on this. Let's change that to 100. Didn't change it all. Didn't change it all. All right. So I've reset it. I've reset it. I've totally reset it. Now, if we go to the server side, and we change this value to 100, endurance level is 100. And if we change this to 1000, I don't know what's going on here. I just need to change this maximum value. Endurance level XP. Alright, so now I've got 20 XP. As you saw down there, it loaded. It should have saved that, but I don't know why it's not. It's not. Okay, so let's see what it's doing. So fuel is. Oh, because that is endurance. I should probably change that to. Where are we here? We need to change that value to endurance XP. I think that is gonna work better. Yes, there we go. There we go. So now what we want to do is, now what we've done is the value that we're tracking is the experience value. The maximum value, it doesn't make sense that the maximum value would be your actual endurance number. This just tracks that. So I guess this would just be progress. I don't know why that's unless we want to change the text. To dot character stats dot what dot endurance, is it? Let's see if this works. Dot endurance dot value. Let's see if that works. It does. Oh, I see. That's the level, and then that's the percentage. That is the level, and that is our percentage to completing the level. So this here would be, I wonder if we'd have to do this. I wonder if we have to do that. Yeah, there we go. So that's the level, and then that's where we are complete. So we could say put a space in there, and then just the percentage. Instead of percentage, we'll say complete. There we go. There. Now what I want is there needs to be a space there. Okay, perfect. Now we'll have to change this. So when we are at the maximum value, whatever that's going to be, there, that looks a little more organized. 0 level, 20% complete to our next level. So that maximum value is going to need to be tracked somewhere else. So in the master interface, or because we can't access the server storage, but like this is where we have to sort of figure out the leveling system. Once we figure out the leveling system, we'll be able to carry that through to our statistics. Because what we need to do is, yeah, actually, you know, this could be fine. This could be fine. So what happens is when that says 100%, then they can open up a little level up window, and that can increase this level here. And then this will, and then once we increase the level, built into that button, we'll have the values that we're going to change for every single level. Built into that button there, we'll have level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, etc. That's unfortunately how we're going to have to build that. It's kind of the only way. So what I mean is that when we get the master interface, we're going to insert another frame, and this is going to be called screen buttons. Let's just say, just for now, and this is going to be here, over here somewhere. All right, and then we can copy the list layout. We don't have to. I'm just using it right now because there's going to be a lot of buttons in here, and it's just for organizing. So we go insert object. Let's see, button. And for now, it could be a text button. It could be an image button too later on. It doesn't have to be, you know, be creative. Do that, and then the text label on here is going to be level, right? Or level up. It could be level up. So when they click on it, it's then going to open up another subframe, sub window. And this can be called levels. And then this window can be here somewhere, right? And then it'll have buttons in it. You can have a text button in there, whatever, right? And then it can say buy level 1, buy level 2. Like that. And then in there, right? So this could be for your levels, or it could say level up endurance, right? And then when they press the button, we can insert an object. We can insert a local script, all right? And then we can say local button equals script dot parent, and then we'll say button dot mouse button 1 down, right? Connect function. And we get the player, just so we can get the name of the player, so we can give rewards. And then here we can do all that. We can say if, right, if script dot 1 dot 2 dot 3 dot 4 dot where are we go, stats, endurance. Value is greater than 99, then blah 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 blah. Right? We can say print level up. We can say else. Yeah, print. Need more XP. Perfect. We could do something like that. Now let's see if all that mess is gonna work, and then that's gonna do it for this for another video. All right, so let's see if that's gonna level up. Character stats is not a valid member of data model. Oh, I guess I went too far. I guess I went too far on that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I went too far. Yeah, look at that. It says need more XP. We can even change. We can say, let's say, we can say button dot text equals need more XP. There, let's try that. And then that way the text on the actual button will change. There, need more XP. Need more XP. Alrighty, so that is gonna do it for what is this, part 6. Basically, we're just continued on editing the master interface. Now we're designing the master interface that the player is going to use to play the game. The next episode, we're going to create a inventory. We're going to learn how to save the inventory as well, so that way when the player gets a reward from a chest, if they pick up a new shield, or if they pick up some, let's say, some health potions, which is something else we're going to get into, potions and stuff, that will save on the player, so the player knows that they have it. Okay, and basically all that is going to be is we will further expand on the data store, and we will further expand. So we might end up creating a second script, probably, on the server script service, which is going to be, we're at an hour, which is going to be our inventory save script. So we're going to go do that in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye for now.